Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into the awe-inspiring and more often devastating nature of the 2023 Pacific typhoon season. This ongoing event is a captivating display of Mother Nature's raw power as tropical cyclones take center stage in the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean. Throughout this year-long journey, from January to December, we witness the birth and growth of these incredible storms, with their peak activity usually occurring between May and October. The season kicked off with a bang as Sanvu, the first named storm, emerged on April 21. But that was just the beginning. So, buckle up. Join us on this captivating journey through the 2023 Pacific typhoon season, where nature's forces are on full display, reminding us of both its beauty and its might. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. The ongoing 2023 Pacific typhoon season is part of the yearly cycle of tropical cyclone formation, where these cyclones emerge in the western Pacific Ocean. Spanning the entire year, this season sees the majority of tropical cyclones forming between May and October. The initial named storm of this season, Sanvu, developed on April 21. In a subsequent month, Malwar grew into the season's first typhoon on May 21. It stood as one of the most potent tropical cyclones ever recorded in May within the Northern Hemisphere, and the second strongest early season tropical cyclone, only surpassed by April 2021's Surigay. A notably impactful tempest during this season was Typhoon Dakshari in mid to late July. This typhoon wreaked havoc on the northern Philippines, Taiwan, and China, resulting in a staggering $15.4 billion in damages, becoming the costliest typhoon to hit mainland China. Throughout the year, various national meteorological organizations and scientific agencies make predictions regarding the number of tropical cyclones, tropical storms, and typhoons expected to develop within a given season, as well as the potential impact on specific countries. Notable entities engaged in this forecasting endeavor encompass the Tropical Storm Risk Consortium associated with University College London, along with Pagasta and Taiwan's Central Weather Bureau. The initial prediction came from Pagasta on January 13, 2023, within their regular monthly climate outlook for the first half of 2023. In this projection, Pagasa anticipated the likelihood of 0 to 2 tropical cyclones forming or entering the Philippine area of responsibility from January to March. Looking ahead, they projected the formation of 2 to 4 tropical cyclones between April and June. Furthermore, Pagasa indicated that the weakening La Niña conditions might persist until they shift back to ENSO-neutral conditions subsequently. Tropical Storm Risk released its inaugural 2023 season forecast on May 5th, anticipating the emergence of a moderate to strong El Niño that would likely endure until October. The prediction suggested that the tropical activity during 2023 would surpass the norm, foretelling the occurrence of 29 named storms, 19 typhoons, and 13 highly intense typhoons. The TSR's forecast remained consistent, albeit with a minor adjustment as they lowered the count of intense typhoons to 12 in their July update. However, their subsequent August projections saw an increase in the projected numbers of typhoons and intense typhoons to 20 and 14 respectively. Tropical Depression Amang. The Japan Meteorological Agency first noted a low-pressure area in the Philippine Sea on April 7, as it tracked west-northwestwards into a favorable environment for further development. Later that day, the JMA and the Pagasa classified the storm as a tropical depression. As the storm formed within the Philippine area of responsibility, the depression received the name Amang. Amang made its first landfall over Panganiban, Catanduanes on April 11. Later the next day, the Pagasa reported that Amang had made a second landfall in Presentation, Camarines Sur, and later made its third landfall in Laganoy, Camarines Sur. Pagasta downgraded the storm to a low on April 13. Agricultural damages caused by the storm were estimated at 50.84 million pesos, affecting 1,569 farmers and 1,330 hectares of land. 1,918 passengers were stranded in the Bicol region following sea travel suspensions. On April 13, classes up to senior high school in 19 areas were suspended due to bad weather, along with pre-elementary classes in areas under Signal Number 1. Tropical Storm Sanvu spawned southeast of Pohnpei on April 18. The JMA later classified the disturbance as a tropical depression the following day. On April 20, the depression further intensified to a tropical storm and gave the name Sanvu to the storm. After reaching its peak intensity early on April 21, Sanvu began to weaken afterward due to clusters of convection on its northeast quadrant absorbing its energy. By April 22, Sanvu's poor ragged structure of its circulation center prompted the J2WC to cease issuing bulletins on the storm as it was downgraded to a tropical depression. The JMA canceled advisories on the storm the same day as well and reported that Sanvu's remnants had dissipated on April 26. Typhoon Mawar, or Betty. On May 17, a weak low-level circulation located 865 kilometers south of Guam would gradually intensify into a tropical cyclone in the upcoming days. Later, it became very wide and organization had improved. The JMA also began tracking the system, marking it as LPA, shortly before upgrading it to a tropical depression on May 19. The same day, the depression upgraded to a tropical storm. The JMA assigned the name Mawar to the storm. Mawar further became a super typhoon and underwent an eyewall replacement cycle after reaching winds of 250 kilometers per hour. During May 24, the center of Mawar passed about north of the northern tip of Guam, around 9 p.m. local time, and slightly weakened. Soon afterwards, Mawar reached its peak intensity, attaining 1-minute sustained winds of 295 kilometers per hour equivalent to Category 5 strength, and 10-minute sustained winds of 215 kilometers per hour. Mawar entered the PAR, which Pagasta assigned it the name Betty. Mawar weakened into a severe tropical storm on May 31, before exiting the PAR on June 1. Mawar became a tropical storm on June 2, as it approached Okinawa. On June 3, Mawar became an extratropical cyclone south of Honshu, as it moved towards the open Pacific. Power outages began affecting parts of Guam on May 22 as winds from Mawar intensified. Guam International Airport also recorded winds up to 104.7 miles per hour as Mawar impacted the island. The Weather Prediction Center recorded that multiple locations in Guam received at least 20 inches of rain during Typhoon Mawar, with most of it falling in just 3 hours. Typhoon Guchol, or Cheating. In the first weeks of June, a low-pressure area was formed north of Palau, then developed into a tropical depression late on June 5. At the following day, it intensified and entered the Philippine area of responsibility, prompting to name the Pagasta as Cheating. Cheating was upgraded into a tropical storm, attaining the name Guchol. Guchol later became a strong Category 2 typhoon in the Philippine Sea, but the cold wake from Super Typhoon Mawar kept it from intensifying any further. As Guchol, or Cheating, exited the PAR, it weakened into a severe tropical storm and continued northeastwards, avoiding the Japanese archipelago. It then became extratropical on June 12th. Guchol had minimal impact. However, the southwest monsoon was enhanced during the presence of Guchol inside Philippine area of responsibility, resulting in widespread heavy rains over the western portions of Luzon. Severe Tropical Storm Talim, or Dadam. On July 12, the JMA began tracking a weak monsoon depression 298 nautical miles east of Manila, slowly moving towards northern Luzon. On July 13, the JMA took note of a low-pressure area just off the coast of Aurora, Philippines. A few hours later, the JMA recognized the formation of a tropical depression. Pagasa issued a similar announcement and subsequently named the system Dodong. It made its first landfall in Dinapigue, Isabela a few hours later. The system continued to track westward close to the northern edge of mainland Luzon, crossing through Cagayan and Ilocos Norte. It emerged off the coast of Ilocos Norte on July 14. The J2WC began issuing advisories for the now tropical depression. The system intensified into a tropical storm just prior to exiting the PAR and was subsequently named Talim by the JMA. On July 15, Talim moved west-northwestward within a favorable environment and was being offset by equatorward outflow. The J2WCs assessed the storm to have strengthened into 155 kilometers per hour of winds. Talim made its second landfall in Janjiang, Guangdong, with winds of 136 kilometers per hour on July 17. As it moved further inland, Talim rapidly weakened. Shortly after the landfall, the JTWC discontinued warnings on the system. Talim dissipated early on the next day. Typhoon Dakshuri, or Age. On July 19, JMA began tracking a low-pressure area in the Philippine Sea, east of Mindanao. The agency noted its formation into a tropical depression by July 20. J2WC then released a TCFA on the storm later that day. On July 21, the system intensified into a tropical storm and was named Dakshuri. Overall, the typhoon was responsible for 137 deaths, 46 missing, and 285 injured, including 27 people on board the MB Idea Express, who were killed when the pump boat capsized and caused $15.5 billion in damage across several countries. Typhoon Kanan, or Falcon. On July 26, the JMA announced the formation of a low-pressure area in the Pacific Ocean. The JMA started warning the system, declaring it a tropical depression. Analysis from the JMA indicated that the system was in a favorable environment for development, with warm sea surface temperatures and low vertical wind shear. The JMA and the JTWC upgraded the system to a tropical storm, with the JMA assigning the name Kanan for the system. Kanan consolidating LSCC with formative convective banding and deep convection over the eastern semicircle. Kanan entered the PAR on July 29 and was named Falcon by the Pagasa. Over 24 hours, its maximum sustained wind speeds grew by 130 kilometers per hour and eventually reached a peak of 220 kilometers per hour, equivalent to Category 4 status. Kanan left the PAR at around 3:00 PHT on August 1. As of August 18, 13 deaths were reported, and 16 is reported to have went missing following the typhoon. Another 115 remain injured, and damage totaled at $98.1 million. At least 160,000 homes lost power across the island chain. Kanan became the first to pass through the Korean peninsula from south to north since record-keeping began in 1951. Typhoon Lan. On August 5, the JMA reported that a low-pressure area had formed east-northeast of Iwo Jima. Lan began to intensify more quickly, reaching typhoon status. The JTWC upgraded it to Category 4 equivalent typhoon on August 11 after Dvorak estimates indicated winds of 215 kilometers per hour. The JMA issued purple heavy rain, the second highest level on a 4-tier scale, and landslide warnings for parts of Kyoto Prefecture in Kansai region and Iwate Prefecture in Tohoku region as of late August 14. Typhoon Lan caused widespread damage. In addition to causing landslides and flooding, the storm also uprooted trees and damaged electrical lines. At least 100,000 homes are without power, and more than 200 and 37,000 individuals have been forced from their homes. One person has been reported dead, and 64 are reported to have remained injured following the typhoon. Typhoon Dora. On August 11, a weakening Hurricane Dora moved into the basin from the Central Pacific Basin. August 12, the JMA and the JTWC initiated advisories on Dora, declaring that it had just crossed the international date line and classifying it as a typhoon. The cloud tops further warmed, and its eye vanished from satellite imagery. Dora showed significant deterioration along the system's northern flank. Dora became increasingly sheared by early August 13, interacting with an upper-level trough. Vertical wind shear exceeded 35 kilometers per hour. Further decay in the organization of the storm's deep convection caused Dora to be downgraded to a tropical storm. With Dora's ragged center, the system remained disorganized as wind shear was becoming displaced to the east. By the early hours of August 15, both agencies issued their final warnings on Dora. Its LOCC further became broad and exposed. The JMA, however, continued to monitor the system until it was last noted on August 21. Severe tropical storm Damri. On August 21, the JMA started tracking a tropical depression in the open western Pacific. The JTWC then followed suit on August 23 by upgrading the system into a tropical depression and designating it as 08W. The JMA later upgraded the system into a tropical storm on August 24, receiving the name Damri, with the JTWC following suit on August 25. Typhoon Saola, or Goring. By mid to late August, an area of convection east of Taiwan began moving southwestwards with little organization over its center. The Pagasta marked the system as a low-pressure area on August 22, and the Japan Meteorological Agency upgraded it to a tropical depression. Pagasa followed suit by the evening and upgraded Saola into a typhoon as well. Saola was then upgraded to a Category 4 typhoon by the morning of August 27. In the early morning hours of Sunday, Pagasa then upgraded Goring, or Saola, into a super typhoon after its winds passed 185 kilometers per hour, becoming the third storm to enter in their super typhoon category this year. Saola then executed a south-southeastward turn over the Philippine Sea. Saola then weakened back into a typhoon per Pagasa, with tropical cyclone wind signal number 2 and number 3 being lifted as it moved away from central Luzon. The Joint Typhoon Warning Center also downgraded Saola back into a Category 2 typhoon. Saola then weakened due to an eyewall replacement cycle, and Pagasta dropped some tropical cyclone wind signals in eastern Luzon. It then turned northwest, and Pagasa reissued signal number 4 for parts of the Babuyan Islands, and then explosively intensified into a Category 4 super typhoon per the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. Pagasa raised tropical cyclone wind signal number 3 in the eastern portions of Isabela as Saola made its closest approach to mainland Luzon. At least one person has been killed due to Saola. Severe tropical storm Haikui, or Hana. A broad low-pressure area developed into a tropical depression on August 27, near the northern Mariana Islands, while slowly drifting westward. On August 28, the JMA subsequently upgraded the system into a tropical storm, naming it Haikui. The J2C began initiating advisories thereafter and was designated as 10W. Haikui then rapidly strengthens into a severe tropical storm category a few minutes later. As it moves west-northwest, Haikui entered PAR and was given the domestic name Hana. Tropical Storm Kuroji. A low-pressure area located far east of Guam developed on August 29. Slowly intensifying while moving generally northwest, the system developed into a tropical storm, as announced by JWC on August 30. JMA followed suit shortly thereafter, giving it the name Karaji. As of this writing, The two said typhoon Haikui and Kuroji is still active and still monitored by weather agencies. Experts say that it is possible that around 7 to 10 more typhoons are likely to occur in the Pacific until early weeks of November. If you found this information valuable, don't forget to hit that like button and share this video with your friends. It's essential that we all stay informed, especially when facing the unpredictability of Mother Nature. We hope you've gained a deeper understanding of these powerful natural phenomena. Remember, knowledge is key when it comes to staying safe and prepared. If you find this video informative, you may also want to check the top 10 most dangerous places on Earth and 10 most dangerous animals.